Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tiny Bunny. Last time, Tiny Bunny, we made it to episode 4, and what even happened? Sorry, it's been a little bit. That's right, we friend zoned ourselves. We played Duck Hunt with Olia. We made some new friends, and Katya went missing. So we're doing great so far. Now let's get back to where we're at. That's right. So here, Anton and Olia are inside, we're inside of their room, and their parents are arguing like really, really bad, to the point where it's just scaring the crap out of them, and Olia wants to get away. And Anton sees his friends outside. You know, Alyssa, Teddy, Wolfie, and Owlie, I believe, or Hootie is what they call them, I believe. And so we're going outside right now. That's what we're doing. As we sneak past the rumbling kitchen and into the snowfall outside. Alyssa ran up to me and hugged me tight, poking her cold nose into my neck.
Как же долго! Пока мы вас домоседов ждали, то чуть не состарились.
She pressed her body into me even harder.
Оказывается, ждать так утомительно. Фу, дайте хоть минуточку в себя прийти.
Однажды я тоже долго собиралась. А когда закончила, то и вовсе забыла куда.
Olia looked at the owl with suspicion. But she still giggled when the bird did a backflip and landed perfectly on her feet without staggering. All the other animals, as if on cue, stopped fooling around and stared at Olia in amazement.
Это же та девочка, что не хотела со мной дружить.
Меня зовут Оля. Раньше я просто тебя боялась.
Dude, her fit is so cute. Look at this. Look at that adorable little bunny on the top. She's just adorable.
Тебя испугала наша совушка?
Yeah, I think anyone would be afraid of a giant owl showing up to their window just saying things to them.
Может быть, у нее совофобия?
А это лечится?
Главное, чтобы ребенок не боялся веселиться. Иначе с нами можно умереть от страха.
I was stunned at the realization that my lips were slowly forming a smile. Every time I met Alyssa, it felt like I crossed a river, and the sound of flowing water suppressed all of my negative thoughts.
Какие у вас красивые костюмы!
The fox girl let go of me and squatted beside Olia.
О, какая очаровашка! Антоша, почему ты прятал от нас это милое создание раньше?
I glanced at the house, worried that our parents might have seen us and were about to ruin our fun like they always do. Then hugged my sister and replied,
Давайте отойдем подальше.
Запросто! Оля, а ты знаешь, как найти в нашем лесу Деда Мороза?
Grandpa Frost. Time for a glossary definition. Grandpa Frost. Ded Moroz. A legendary figure similar to Santa Claus, hailing from Slavic mythology. He is often depicted wearing a heel-length fur coat in red and blue, a semi-round fur hat, and a pyre. Is it pur? Pair. Oh, I think they just meant pair. And a pair of Russian traditional winter footwear, Valinki. His face is adorned by a long white beard, and he walks with a long magic stick. He's said to bring presents to well-behaving children on the New Year's Eve. If I remember to while I'm editing, I will just edit a picture of him on here so you can see what he looks like. My little sister's eyes widened.
Как? Нужно идти по сладкой тропинке.
Alyssa bent down, took a candy out of the snow. I really like using this particular frame of Alyssa holding something out. She gave me an inquiring look. I nodded. My sister munched on the candy.
У нас что, в лесу завелся Дед Мороз? Почему? Ты мне не рассказывала.
Я рассказывала. Сегодня днем.
Но ведь днем я сплю.
Ага. Вот я и рассказывала, пока ты спала.
Alyssa dashed away, wiggling her red tail like a torch's flame. Olio went after her without thinking and laughed after taking another candy out of a snow pile.
Вы такие бодрые, на вас аж смотреть противно.
А ты давай не зевай. Лучше беги с нами к Деду Морозу, пока все подарки не разобрали.
Скажешь тоже. Скорее уж мне на голову свалится 3 кило конфет, чем я поверю в байки лисицы.
When the aforementioned sweets started raining down on the bear's head, I couldn't stop myself from laughing at him, ouching and bobbing his head up and down. Tasty treats glistened in the snow. Teddy sneezed and pulled a little bear in the north candy out of his ear.
Я бы вздремнул часок, а уж потом пересчитал все эти шоколады.
Ever met a character that's exhausted from looking at candy?
У меня такое подозрение, что тут не больше килограмма.
Alyssa shouted at us from the other side of the forest.
Не в этой жизни! Давайте скорее! Дед Мороз уже заждался нас во дворце!
I shrugged and ran, running loose in the grip of fear I felt all this time. Something round whizzed past my temple. I decided it was a snowball, but then Olia proclaimed,
Зефир!
Zephyr. Glossary time. A type of soft confectionery popular in most Soviet countries. It's made by whipping fruit and berry puree with sugar and egg whites with subsequent addition of a gelling agent. Its chocolate-coated variant shares the same family of treats with American Molomars, German Chocokus, and Iranian Bastani Zimistani. All names that I have butchered. It's a sweet treat.
Не подбирай, он испачкался.
Ты что, веришь в микробов?
А ты нет?
Раньше верила.
Graceful rows of colossal pines greeted us with their rustling paws. Snow drifted upward into the endless black sky, just like last time. Snow piles lightened up. I'm sorry. I keep thinking about like whether or not this is okay or not. Like I'm worried that they're actually gonna like get taken or something. Because while I do think that it's very cool to be hanging out with these, Alyssa and the gang, I'm just worried that they're gonna get taken. But I guess I should shut my mouth and just let the story play out. Snow piles lightened up like melted silver.
Как же красиво! А я думала, в лесу страшно. Нас родители пугали лесом, снегом и совой. Ну а мы с собой играли в снежной чаще под луной.
She speaks weird. I did my best to keep track of Olia's movement, but it was a difficult task. My sister would jump inside bushes, picking up more candy, only to then get back to the trail, laughing. Hootie flew over our heads, landed on a branch, and started hooting and shaking her head. Wolfie dug into the snow with his face, dragged out a pile of bubble gum, and swallowed it without taking off the wrapper.
У тебя будет несварение.
The wolf got scared and spat out the gumball.
Враки, злые собаки. Нет никаких несварений. Вся эта чушь случается только со взрослыми.
Yeah, dude. Alyssa stopped in her tracks and moved a canopy of intertwined branches to the side in a pompous manner, like you would open the curtains in a theater. Whoa, behind that obstacle lay a clearing. There stood an ice castle glistening with silver.
О, это все взаправду?
Защипнуть тебя.
Не надо ее щипать.
We stared at the sparkling miracle. Its towers and walls were made out of snow and icy marble. I heard a calming sound of ringing little bells. There was also the smell of chocolate and burnt sugar in the air.
Милости прошу к нашему шалашу.
She didn't have to invite us twice. We entered the castle, spinning around and squinting from the blinding sparkles. What? Hi, yeah, all right. Grandpa Frost sat atop a shiny throne. Puffy Pom-Pom swung atop the two peaks of his hat. A snow-white beard covered his kind smile. He looked just like I imagined him back in the day, when I still believed in Mom's fairy tales. Tall, strong, and hairy, radiating frost and warmth at the same time. and his voice, low and syrupy, enveloped me like the smoke of a festive bonfire.
Антон и Ольга. Ох, и намучились же вы, ребятки, пока сюда добирались.
Что ты, дедушка? Мы быстро дошли.
My sister spoke with the castle's master like she never spoke with adults, in a lively, carefree manner, as if they were the same age.
Знаю, все знаю. Мне мои друзья докладывают. Кто был покладистым весь год, того подарок утром ждет. А кто ленился и грустил, пускай он дедушку простит. Лентяем и грустяем конфет не запасаем.
А я не ленилась.
И о том знаю.
He gave us a long, evaluating look. His real face was hidden under the Grandpa Frost mask. I was just standing there, unblinking, my gaze glued to the old man. I could accept children living in the forest and fantastical jumps toward the moon, but seeing Grandpa Froston in this frozen castle left me completely speechless.
Есть у меня для вас кое-что особенное.
A sack appeared in his giant hand. My nostrils got attacked by the aroma of cocoa, havla, and tangerines. What is halva? A confectionery that originated from Persia, usually consisting of a thick paste made from flour, butter, liquid oil, saffron, rosewater, milk, cocoa powder, and sweetened with sugar. That sounds incredible. I would love to try one of these. I wonder if they have a variant here. Very cool.
Спасибо, но мы уже ели конфеты.
Grandpa Frost pierced me with his eyes.
Разве то конфеты были? Так, одно название. Вот у меня конфеты волшебные, прямиком из Небыляндии привезенные.
That wasn't a ho-ho-ho, that was a ha-ha-ha.
Из Небыляндии?
Сразу бы вам их дал. Заслужили.
I still feel uneasy.
Правила.
I definitely feel uneasy. Rules are meant to be broken.
Надобно вам 3 дедушкины загадки отгадать. Попробуйте.
I tried splitting my parched lips apart, but Olia was the first to reply.
Тогда слушайте первую.
Hold up. What if this is something I need to save for? Let's go back.
В нем живут машины и хранятся шины.
A hope for cars and all sorts of tires. They looked around at the masked children. They stood without moving in the corners, but their shadows danced on the walls. I heard a low hum, and in my confusion, I thought it was the sound of their rumbling stomachs. Okay. Why is the music all sinister? What's happening here? I don't like this. Why you turned around like that? Why are you peeking over like that? Why's your tummy rumbling? Let's go.
Гараж!
Верно.
Nice.
Теперь вторая загадка. Подключайся, Антон. Весь день ходит, как тень, посудой гремит, на всех шипит.
The shadows they belong, they rattle their plates and hiss at their mates. I don't really know. It's an animal of some sort. My eyebrows shot up in confusion. Olia raised her hand.
Можно я? Можно я? Это кошка!
Верно. Хо-хо. Осталась последняя загадка и подарки ваши. Только вот незадача, ребятушки. Запамятовал я, о чем же была эта загадка. А может, наши друзья-зверята нам подскажут?
Whoa. Children in costumes surrounded us, laughing and stomping, only to start spinning in a crazed roundelay that somewhat reminded me of the dance under my window on that fateful night.
Мешок!
Holy smart. Grandpa Frost burst out laughing, satisfied.
Убедили старика. Получайте.
He scattered a mountain of sweets from his scarlet sack, some of which I had never seen in commercials before. Bubblegum of all shapes and colors with tasty aromas and inserts sticking out. Lollipops the size of a fist and tangerines the size of Olia's head. Hold on, these candies are sick. Is that does that say Spickers? Maybe it isn't actually a Russian variant. Spixie? I don't know how to say that. Wilkie May? Nah, these are just play on the names. Plays on the names. Also, Snickers, Mars, Bounty Bars, and Kinder Surprise eggs that we haven't eaten for so long already.
Ой, спасибо!
I wiped away the tears of joy with my sleeve when my inner voice persuaded me to get rid of all doubts. This is exactly what I wanted for my sister and myself. The true Neverland, without bullying and taboos. We're finally going to be happy. I don't trust any of this. Grandpa Frost straightened up as he left his throne and threw his hands in the air over the treats. Animals that stood to his sides also raised their paws. Calm down, look at you! Their eyes sparkled brighter than precious gems. The wolf's maw was wet with saliva.
Да будет пир на весь мир!
Animal kids rushed to devour candy one by one, pushing each other and growling. Their faces were smeared with something dark. Where's Alyssa? Olia grabbed the closest candy and tore off the wrapper. I can't deny it. I guess we just do what we have to do. Except, I fished out the most tasty-looking candy from the pile of sweets on the floor. Then took a bite. Milk chocolate melted in my mouth.
С выбором вас поздравляю. Веселитесь в этот час. Я желание исполняю, сокровенный для вас.
Антон, смотри!
Look at you. This doesn't look good. This is not a good look. I still don't trust any of this. The colors are great. I love to see everybody in color, but I don't trust this. My sister's face was smeared with chocolate, and I was about to reprimand her, but words got stuck in my throat. A giant spruce shot toward the stars and disappeared somewhere in outer space, crowned by a giant moon. Giant balls shined on its branches. Garlands of lights gleamed with all the colors of the rainbow. The roof disappeared and myriads of constellations sprawled on the night above us. Night sky above us, sorry. Wow. Music, laughter, the smell of evergreen and sweets. And Teddy, Wolfie, and Hootie dancing beside us, and the snowflakes floating backwards. I burst out laughing, touched the bushy golden tinsel. It was all real.
Это что? Это она? Вы тут не про Небылендию случайно говорите? Это и есть Небылендия?
Alyssa performed a theatric bow. Christmas balls gleamed and shimmered, and my soul shimmered in unison with them. I was becoming the magic winter forest, soft, evergreen, all of the constellations at the same time.
Добро пожаловать домой.
This is where my home always was. The snow sparkled, almost blinding me. Olia started spinning in dance. She grabbed the candy with each of her hands. Nah, hold on. Is she gonna come back around? I need to see that. I wanted to see the little jig. Ah, she's not gonna come back around. Let's just get to it. Wolfie juggled Kinder surprise eggs. Every time they come around, I'm just gonna close this so we can see what they look like. Oh, just kidding. Okay. Consoles, handheld games, dolls, and transformer figures lay under the spruce as if they were brought here by trucks.
Это все наше!
I realized I was also dancing, so I replied while moving.
Многовато для нас одних. Я бы поделился с кем-нибудь. А ты?
Ну, если с кем-то хорошим.
A group of children stood at the edge of the woods, their enchanted gazes directed at our celebration.
Эй!
I jumped across the whole clearing and glided to the ground near them.
Хотите с нами?
Is this random kids?
Спрашивайте.
The kids took each other by the hand. I led their procession toward the gifts. There is no better feeling than leading someone on the road to their dreams. The holiday party was finally in full swing. And every holiday, just like in a beautiful apple, always had a nasty little worm called transience. Yet here, under the bristly paws of a magnificent spruce, holidays never ended.
Ты счастлив, Тоша?
Я счастлив.
Up in the sky, majestic fireworks went off, illuminating the dancing figures. My eyes wetted, my muscles sprung up. I tilted my head backward to look at the moon and screamed at the top of my lungs from overflowing emotion.
Ты счастлив, зайчик?
I jumped toward the stars and did a flip. All of Neverland could hear my scream.
Счастлив!
Again, this is too joyous, I don't trust it. For the first time in the long days I'd spent in the new house, I woke up with a smile on my face. This time, happiness had a tight grip on me. I stretched, enjoying the sweet sensation with every cell of my body. Okay, it's cool that you had a good night, but I'd like to go check on our sister real quick to make sure she got home safely, too. Outside, I could hear the joyful chirping of beautiful red-chested bullfinches? Who celebrated the bright January sun. Their chirping granted me hope that the naked forest outside my window would someday turn into a lush paradise for my parents and my little sister. The corridor was filled with dog barks and the patter of tiny feet. The door to my bedroom flew open, greeting me with a warm breeze and the aroma of freshly made coffee. My sister! Only stood at in the doorway, shining with happiness, holding the cute Zholka who wiggled both her body and her tail.
Тоша, гляди! Папа разрешил ей остаться!
Tears of joy formed in my little sister's eyes.
У меня теперь есть собака!
I couldn't help but jump up from bed upon hearing this wonderful news.
Да ведь это же Жулька.
Сам ты жулька! Ее зовут принцесса. Да, ваше высочество?
The dog barked in agreement. Oh, yeah,
Тук-тук. Можно к вам?
I'm uncomfortable. To my complete surprise, Dad stepped through the doorway, smiling and hugging Mom, which was outright bizarre.
Как тебе пополнение? Мне эта дуреха под колеса бросилась, еле вырулил. Машину поцарапал, думал, голыми руками удавлю.
Whoops. Then I looked her in the eye, and there I saw it. How should I put it? Yeah,
Умные.
intelligent.
Во! А сама дрожит вся. Ну, говорю, ладно, доедешь со мной до дома и сиденье не обгадишь, тогда оставайся.
Принцессы не гадят.
We laughed in unison, just like the good old days when every little thing could easily make us burst out laughing.
Чего замолчал? Давай, продолжай.
Mom gave Dad a cunning look and he turned away, red as a beet. They were acting like total kids.
А еще из хороших новостей. Ваш папа получил повышение. Грешно, конечно, радоваться, ведь старший бухгалтер пропал все-таки. Но, как говорится, нет худа без добра.
Это значит, тебя чаще не будет дома?
Это значит двойную надбавку плюс премии.
Правильно, Карина. Так что готовьтесь. На следующей неделе нас всех ждет семейное путешествие.
My heart started beating faster after those words.
Куда?
Olia even loosened her grip on the stray. Eh?
Скажешь,
Whoops! My bad, sorry. Olia even loosened her grip on the stray, said,
Неужели в Макдональдс?
She wants some Mackies.
Скажешь тоже, Оль. Бери выше. Мы давно уже планировали эту поездку, да все не получалось.
Вы уж простите нас, ребятки.
Mom wiped away a tear with her fist.
Да ладно тебе, Карин. Все в прошлом. В общем, собирайте чемоданы, летим в Диснейленд!
My sister and I jumped to the ceiling with joy. The dog also got excited from the passionate speech and joined us.
Ура! Диснейленд! Диснейленд!
Our jubilant screams filled the house, rushed through the attic and the drain pipes, flew across the front yard, and sneaked into the shining white forest. Today, the scary D word away with it, or taking the scary D word away with it. I swore that I'll remember this day forever, the day when my parents finally dropped their derisive masks, and underneath them were the faces of parents we always knew and loved. Lilia Pavlovna still hadn't returned to school after Katya went missing, so today I was able to get a good night's sleep and went to school when it was already bright outside. The trail led to a snow-white plain with blackened houses in the background. They pumped out gray smoke that carried the smell of birch and pine logs. The freezing cold of the night had finally let up. I fell into slumber under the early sunlight. Ice sparkles appeared on the white caps atop the houses. I stopped, confident that nobody could spoil my good mood today. Not even my personal tormentor. What is the what? Pyatafanov? Who is that? Or his nasty crony Biasha? Is this Romka's last name? Pyatafanov. Pyatafanov. Not even the shining knife that threatened to cut me up like a dead fish. Not even the mix of disdain and pity in Polina's rare glances. All of that was left in the past, forgotten like a bad dream. All of that was gone forever. A cow let out a long moo somewhere in the distance. I fell out of my fleeting daydream and walked forward, crunching with the snow blanket under my soles. Fluffy clouds floated above my head. I recognized the friendly shapes of animal kids in them. Suddenly, a snowball landed on the back of my head. Girlish laughter that reminded me of a small ringing bell in the spring breeze tickled my ear. I turned around, expecting to see her, my lovely guide into the dream world, my dear Alyssa. Yet instead of a fox girl, Polina stood in the trodden path behind me, with her faithful violin case in hand.
Опять Петров ворон считаешь?
She lunged at me with contagious laughter, locking her arms around my neck. I just stood there in awe, drowning in the sweet aroma of her perfume.
Что с тобой?
She flashed me an embarrassed smile. I saw her cornflower-colored eyes gleam.
Дедушка мой, он снова может ходить, представляешь?
Second positive thing happening. Interesting.
В это даже сельский врач не верил, а он будто назло ему встал и пошел. О, это самый счастливый день в моей жизни, Антон!
She dug her face deep into my chest, tightened her grip on my neck as if I was more than just a friend to her. I stared, looking around, anxious.
Полина, нас могут увидеть.
Из-за Пятифанова беспокоишься?
What? Is this what they're calling him now? I'm gonna read this every single time. You know what? I might as well practice. Pyatafanov. 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 Let me hear her say it again. Hold on.
Полина, нас могут увидеть.
Из-за Пятифанова беспокоишься?
Whatever.
Брось ты это дело. Его
Then you're worried for nothing. Okay. He's been here seen for a while. Oh, he's missing too? Guys, I don't know if this is good or not. It seems like all of the good things are happening to good people and all the bad things are happening to bad people. While I understand we all want our own sense of justice or comeuppance for people that are bullies or whatnot, I don't really know if this is the best way to go about things. There's probably something more sinister here. I cautiously parted with Polina, trying to understand whether it was some sort of prank or the truth.
Ну ты чего, не веришь, что ли? К нам вчера, буквально ночью, старший лейтенант Тихонов приезжал. Так и так, Бяша потерялся, а вместе с ним и дружок его Ромка.
A group of skiers glided past us straight into the forest. Polina leaned into my ear, sharing her whisper with me, her eyes still locked on the skiers.
Как я поняла, во всех этих исчезновениях Тихонов подозревает Пятифанова.
Да ладно.
Я сама в шоке. По слухам, у Ромки того. Совсем шарики за ролики заехали.
Well, he did pull a knife on us and threatened to cut my face open if I ever spoke to you, so I can see that.
Да я, в принципе, и не удивлена.
Что ты имеешь в виду?
А ты не знал? Он из проблемной семьи.
I got to stop hitting right click.
Даже думать не хочу, что творилось у них дома.
Ronk always seemed excessively aggressive to me, always angry at everyone without a good reason. Now, the darkness that he harbored within overflowed into the outside world and led multiple small innocent souls to their demise, as well as his own. It was hard to believe, but the first time I laid my eyes on Romka, I thought that things would end this way.
Пойдем скорее, а то опоздаем.
The expectation of the bad being bad forever. Oh yeah. That's an extremely human thing to do. You come to that conclusion or whatever, like let me go back real quick. So I can get this right in my head. He seemed excessively aggressive to me, always angry at everyone without a good reason. This is right after she brings up his home life. But a troubled home life can always spawn bullies like crazy. It's not something that's like uncommon. Now the darkness that he harbored within overflowed into the outside world and led multiple small innocent souls to their demise, as well as his own. It sounds like that Anton here is already accepting, oh yeah, it was definitely him. It was hard to believe, but the first time I laid my eyes on Romka, I thought that things would end this way. This is the sad expectation for a lot of people who are troubled or go through something like the prison system, for instance, right? Just a quick ramble, but my brother is somebody who's been to jail, and I have another one who's been to prison. And once they got out of, however much time they did, it was very tough for them to integrate back into society because there was always an expectation for them to do bad, right? So they already have the guilt of the family members and anyone else who knows about their past, expecting them to be bad forever. And that puts something on someone. Yes, you can say that you can, overcome it. Just be better and it doesn't matter. But if you keep putting expectations on people, it just doesn't help, basically, right? And so whenever they would try to be better, the second they would go back into their tendencies, they would just think, well, I'm just like this forever, and that is what it is. And the fact that, like, Anton says this here, tells me that he didn't see any other way, like there was no redemption in his eyes for Ronka, and that he's definitely the one who did it. So I could be wrong, could be reading too much into that. Let's move, we're gonna be late. Okay. Polina grabbed my hand and started running along the village road, accompanied by joyful laughter. With every step, every laugh, and every joke, the warmth I thought I'd forgotten enveloped my heart more and more. The all-consuming feeling of falling in love came back to me, this time for good, it seemed. I tried letting go of Polina's hand near the classroom entrance, embarrassed that her classmates might taunt us. But it was as if Paulina didn't care at all. She only gripped my palm even harder while opening the door. And she was right. Now that the cunning Katya and the heartless Romka and the sneering Vyasha were gone, our class looked as if it was sanitized from parasites. It became friendlier, kinder. I didn't get looks overflowing with hatred anymore. There was nobody to spit a ball of chewed paper at me through an empty shell of a ball pen. I sat at my lonely desk when Polina joined me. I wasn't surprised at all. She was so charming that I could call her my muse. A wave of inspiration hit me and I couldn't help but pull my sketchbook out of my bag. I licked the pencil clean. I'm sorry, I licked the pencil clean. I licked the pencil lead, my eyes glued to my model. She smiled at me again.
задумал?
Спокойствие. Работает профессионал.
I drafted the shapes of her mesmerizing figure.
Знаешь, я часто наблюдал за тобой отсюда.
She glanced at her former desk, then fixed a strand of hair behind her ear in embarrassment.
Правда?
I outlined her cute cheeks with multiple wide lines. It was the first time I was able to grasp somebody's proportions so precisely.
Полина,
Bro, I just don't feel right. I still feel uneasy. This is too nice.
Что, Антон?
She froze in place, afraid of disrupting my work with one wrong move or dispelling the magic of the moment.
наклонись, пожалуйста, сюда. Вот так, да, хорошо.
Choking from anxiousness, Polina loosened her knot on her neckerchief. Handkerchief. Our eyes met.
О, Антон.
My pencil slid across the paper furiously, adding the shading to her chest.
Скажи, ты согласна стать героиней моего комикса?
Pleasant shivers ran across her. What is this drawing? Aren't we like 12, 13 here? Isn't she like 12? Who cares? Pleasant shivers ran across her body. She rolled her eyes back, enraptured.
Да! Как долго я ждала этих слов, милый!
Eh? The lead couldn't endure all of the tension and cracked, bursting into a million tiny pieces. He became a monster. I couldn't believe my eyes when I looked at the drawing. I was looking at a terrible daub. Ah, here we go! In the place where Polina's face was just a second ago, now rested some sort of formless mess. It took me some time to realize that I was sitting alone in an empty classroom, with only the specks of dust flying in the moonlight as my company. It was dark outside. My classmates, Polina, the feeling of euphoria, all of them were gone. Somebody wrote down a nursery rhyme on the blackboard with a piece of chalk. Some of the words were wiped out and I could only read bits and pieces. 1, 2, bunny, meat. I was no longer smirking like an idiot. I stood up, pinched myself on the wrist. A ringing silence engulfed me. There was a taste of vomit in my mouth, and my ears buzzed like from an endless scream full of despair and horror.
Эй, кто-нибудь!
Yeah, this looks pretty good. Yeah, this is pretty normal. What happened? Shadows swarmed in the corridor. I walked past boarded up classrooms, past the rotted spots on the walls and the silvery cobwebs. Oh. Spiders crawled under the ceiling. Lamps flickered anxiously. Look at this. I know he's probably going to go through this, but just quickly before I go, or before I continue, I kind of want to look. So we got real people. I wonder if these are the developers. This would be a great way to do this. Okay, but any characters? You can't read the center one. Okay, we'll just continue. I stopped before the notice board, stunned. Hundreds of new photos were placed to those of Simeon and Katya. Black and white printouts were glued on top of each other. The horrific collage of childish faces stared at me with empty eye sockets. Unable to endure the torturing stares of those watchful, gaping holes, I ran out of the school. I crossed the front yard and reached the road where the wind was whipping up powdery snow. No people, no cars, no birds. Low clouds got stuck on chimneys. Windows that looked like they were painted over with ink. The photos of missing people enveloped lampposts and fences like paper skin. Mostly kids, but some adults too. It felt like all the people who once lived in this village now became black and white ghosts in the photos with a person missing label. I dragged my feet forward along the dead street. Some houses had their windows smashed. The wind made itself at home there, wandering the rooms. Every gust made the front door swing. Kids' coats hung from the fences. Their sleeves moved, stretched out towards me. An empty village, empty husk. What happened here? An overthrown waistband rumbled across the back alley. Uh-oh. Something flashed inside the window frames of the charred village store. I ran away from the sooty facade, then heard a guttural roar coming from the well. I started walking faster, trying not to pay any mind to the darkness inside of the front yards, inside the bloody dog houses, inside the crooked shacks. The moon appeared from under the clouds. Something flew over my head in its draining silence. As if a crop dusted from one roof to another, a huge shadow loomed over me. I rushed to the right, hoping that I wasn't noticed. The small green house in front of me was my shelter. Wow, look at that. I pushed the gate, crouched, and scampered toward the porch. I tugged at the doorknob. The front door was open. A wheelchair rolled out of the darkness, almost hitting me, tumbled down the stairs clinging with its wheels and stopped near an apple tree. I followed it with my round eyes. Oh, sorry, with round eyes. I followed it with round eyes, then turned my gaze inside the house again. The corridor was obscured by the dark, empty frames on the walls, glass shards on the floor.
Тут кто?
I heard growling in reply. Yeah. From around the corner at the end of the corridor, a furry paw appeared, and after it, a scary beast face with a pair of burning eyes. A huge, overweight beast crawled out on its belly, writhing like a snake. It could barely fit inside the corridor's mouth. It squeezed forward, clawing at the floorboards. Its maws clanged like a bear trap inches away from my face. My, what big, beautiful teeth you have. The beast got stuck. Oh! It banged its paws on the walls, spitting saliva in every direction. Look at that! I turned around. I need to get the hell out of this nightmare. Look at this. Look at how big that is. A hunchback owl, bigger than the average human, landed near the front gate and stood in my way. Its beak kept clicking. A snow pile bulged nearby, and something reminiscent of a giant shrew crawled to the outside. I fell to my knees as if praying to these eldritch creatures, sorry. Figure draped in a dirty fox scalp crawled out of the dark hole, smiling with all of its teeth. Its tail dragged after it, just a piece of vertebrae laced with torn sinews. Jesus Christ. These designs are peak. Look at this. The creature's bodies became extremely distorted, and I decided I was going insane. Let me see this again. I'm sorry, I just keep taking a peek at like the art here, because there's what, Hootie. This is Alyssa, right? Which one is this? Is this the bear? Yeah, it's got to be bear. Teddy, and then inside is Wolfie, right? They seemed so small to me one moment, as small as a child, only to stretch higher than any of the desolate houses next. To the next. Man-eating creatures towered over me. Something kept on writhing in their stomachs as if looking for a way out. The longer they stared at me, the wider their twisted smiles, their death masks became.
Как же славно мы пировали.
Oh. Wow. The mutilated fox taxidermy mount licked its lips. Its tongue looked like a black centipede, longer than a forearm. A tasty insect ran between... Oh, sorry, I said tasty. The nasty insect ran between the razor-sharp teeth and dropped to the bottomless pit that could swallow the whole world. That is what they call me in the sack.
Как пожирали, так и будем впредь.
There was nothing human about their speech. It was all just animalistic growls and bird-like whizzes. But I was able to understand every word as if we were speaking the same language.
Как жаль, что ты не поспел за нами, зайчик. Не смог укусить луну. Вы объедали меня, предатели!
Hey, yo, what? You stole my food, traitors.
Ты сам не захотел есть свою семью. Но... Жалкое мясо, никчемное мясо. Ах ты ничтожен, братец. Меня от тебя тошнит. Позор! Позор!
Indescribable horror gripped me when the laughing beasts held their clawed paws toward me. And suddenly, the thing that pretended to be a fox started barking loudly.
Глупцы! Его черед нести угощение. Дармоед! Пусть исполнит предназначение. К завтрашней ночи ждем места, а иначе... 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 Иначе мы съедим всю твою семью!
Monsters formed a circle around me and started dancing. I'm just enjoying this. Okay, alright, right, yeah. Scream. Huge eyes, fangs, claws flashed in front of me, blurring into a string of colorful spots and smudges. Fox face protruded from the fuzzy lights that the beastly carcasses turned into. A desperate cry, my cry, rumbled across the back streets of the desolate village. The circle broke up and I ran for my life. It felt like I was running into a snare trap. My head was splitting, ugly images danced inside of it, colliding, falling over, getting up and dancing again. They flapped their wings, poked my face with their beaks and their salivating maws. They howled and jumped around, and my eardrums were ready to pop, either from the screams or from the internal pressure that fractured my skull from within. My winter hat obscured my vision, and it seemed like the whole sky tilted like a roof that's about to collapse. Snow crumbled from the sky like plaster. I ran through the empty streets through this icy world, chased by packs of beasts. Yet I couldn't see anybody when I turned around. I shut my eyes and hopped away from their ritual dance that went on inside my flared-up mind. I squeezed my ears with my palms to suppress the noise. I just wanted to stop my head from cracking open. The sunrise found me deep inside the forest. I knew it was all too good to be true. What? Eh? What? Wait, is that it? What? No, 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 no. Wait, is that really it? Hold on. Let me go check some. Ah, okay, I see. So it seems that I found the Steam page. Well, looking at the Steam page, there was an episode 5 teaser released. I haven't watched that yet. But the developer did, so it's actually, hold on, let me see. So it was posted Friday, May the 2nd this year. So that's great. That means it's not something that's like dead or abandoned. And it says that they have, hey there everyone, it's a home stretch, just 20% more. We've been hard at work for a long time now. Episode 5 will be absolutely colossal, counting all the endings. Its length will exceed the first 3 episodes combined. Good lord. We've drawn a ton of new art as well, since we needed a ridiculous amount of fresh assets for all the new exciting stuff that will conclude Tiny Bunny's story. Also, 5 is going to be the last one. Okay. What's already finished and what you can expect. All the new background images from the blood-soaked forest clearing to the foreboding magical forest have been finished. The grim plot with blood-chilling twists and endings that will keep you awake at night are also done. All the sprite work, including new characters, are also there. We also have animated some of the CGs. Most of the voiceover has already been cut and implemented. Most of the new soundtrack, including new compositions, also already in the game. What's still to do on the list? Let's see. Some code-related work, minor additions to the game graphics, proofreading, finalizing the achievements, finished recording, new uploaded lines for voiceover, updated lines for the voiceover, implementing the new voiceover to the game, sound design work, implementing localizations, designing the game's credits, recording a few of the remaining songs, meticulous polishing of all the game's aspects, testing and optimization. They say, we understand how painful the wait must have been for you all, especially when it's something you've been wanting to get your hands on for such a long time. Please believe us when we say that we also can't wait to show you the fruits of our labor. Please keep in mind that this is not a game for the faint-hearted. We want to ensure that Tiny Bunny will be an unforgettable experience, and maybe even something that will haunt you at night. So we ask you to be patient for just a little longer. The story's finale will surely be something. More updates soon. Okay, that's wonderful, actually. That's wonderful to hear. So cool. I guess that's it for episode 4, or what we for Tiny Bunny in general up to this point. Like, we'll just have to wait for episode 5 to release. I was not expecting that to end right there. I thought I hadn't been looking at anything in the community or whatnot, so like the most that I had read was on the itch.io page when I first did the just the prologue, the first episode. So I didn't know that that this wasn't finished. It had been out for a long time, so I thought like I think it was like 2020, so I didn't think 5 years later I'd still be waiting on episode 5. But I mean, I guess it does take a lot of work to do good games. You know, I have no problem waiting for everything. I don't think these guys were in the background the last time I played. Everybody's here. Cool. So anyway, that's it. That's been it for Tiny Bunny. Amazing game, amazing artwork. I get lost in it. It's a visual treat. Like, so I am very excited for when this comes out. So sad that I had to end here, but it is what it is. Good luck to the developers. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.